In this tutorial, I'm gonna give you a very sexy hook for Instagram Reels. Just check it out. So if you want to have the knowledge how to create these types of animations, then stick around because I'm going to be explaining everything from A to Z. But before we begin, I just wanted to let you know that I recently released a bundle that is combining 3 of my best products into one, and you got one price. So if you're interested, you can check out the description below. And that being said, we're going to get straight into Adobe After Effects. Alright, so we're back in software. Here we got the comp settings, 1080 by 1920. I'll hit OK. And the first thing you want to do is just grab the type tool and we're going to type in hook. I'm going to probably bump up the font size. I'm going to recenter and then I'm going to hit enter for this and I'll type in your audience. Then I'll just select the bottom line and I'll change the font size like that, and something like that should do. Alright, next we're going to probably add a text animation to this. So I'm going to do it real quick. I'm just going to open up properties, go to animate, click on position, and here you want to change the white to 50. Once you've done that, you want to go to range selector 1, go to advanced, and here we need to change 2 things. So basically change the shape from square to ramp up, and then ease low needs to be set to 100%. Then in order to animate it, we're going to change the offset over here to -100. We're going to create a keyframe, and if we move forward and set it to 100% this time, we're going to have it animated. But the thing is that it's not fading in, so we need to add opacity as well. So I'm going to go to property, opacity, and I'll change it to 0. Pretty cool. I'm gonna extend it a bit, maybe like that. Yeah, now I'm gonna pre-compose that layer. I'll call it text and I'll hit enter. Then we need to create a glowy line that is going to be traveling across the text and it's going to be lighting it up with a little bit of light sweep and glow. And by the way, if I go back to the text, just make sure to set the same color as I have here. Right, I'm gonna go back and now we're gonna grab the pen tool and we're gonna create one point somewhere here, then hold shift and create another one here. That way we're gonna have a straight line. And we're gonna make sure to change it to white. Let's hit OK. And then I'm gonna change the line cap to round. So now what you wanna do is animate that line. So for this, I'm gonna open up properties, go to contents, shape 1, path 1, and we're gonna create a keyframe for path. Now we're gonna move it forward and then we're gonna select that point over here and then that one over here and we're gonna hit Ctrl T, or you can just double click it. And now we're gonna be able to actually change it. But if you hold Ctrl and Shift, you're gonna be able to squeeze it in to a little dot, just like that. Alright, so that's what we have. Now what I'm gonna do is select these 2 points, I'll hit F9 and I'll go to the graph editor. Here what you wanna do is just create a peak on the left. So we got that punch in the beginning. Alright, now what you wanna do is rename the layer to line. And you know what, we're gonna hit U for that layer. I'm gonna go to the last point, to the last keyframe, and we're gonna extend it to the size of our text. So I'm gonna select this point, drag it here, and then this one is gonna go here. Alright, then I'm gonna hit Ctrl D for that layer, and I'm gonna rename it to glow. Here in the glow, you wanna add the effect that is called CC Radial Fast Blur. Like here, let's hit enter. Right off the bat, we're gonna change some settings. I'm gonna set the amount to 85, and also the zoom is gonna be set to brightest. Alright, so that's what we have. And now what we wanna do is parent the glow to the line, and we're gonna create a keyframe for positioning our line. So I'm gonna hit Alt-Shift-P, and then I'm gonna move forward and we wanna make it travel across our text. So with X position, you're gonna do it like that. Okay, let's see. Pretty cool, but the problem is that the light is going to the other side and we wanna keep it on the right. So in order to do so, we need to go to the glow and we need to keyframe center in our CC Radial Fast Blur and then hit U and make sure that keyframe is in the beginning, and then we're just gonna adjust X like that. And by the way, something you could do to make it less complex is just delete these 2 keyframes and parent the path to our path in line. So that way we got a full control over the both of them with only 2 keyframes over here. So probably what I'm gonna do with that keyframe is just squeeze it in. So it's expanding and it's actually attacking the entire text. Also, we need to select these 2 keyframes and we're gonna apply the mid graph. And let's see now. Okay. Now what you want to do is just duplicate the text. So I'm going to select the layer and hit Ctrl D. And I'll rename the bottom layer to text low opacity. And that text is going to be renamed to text glow. It's pretty self-explanatory, but we need to change the opacity in our text low opacity. So let's hit T and we're going to change it to around 25%. And that way it's going to look like that. So what you want to do next is add CC light sweep effect to our text glow. And our goal now is to have the light sweep follow that line. So whenever the line is close to the text, it's gonna be lighting up only part of the text that is the closest. Alright, so we need to mess around with the settings. So first make sure to select the effect, grab that point over here and have it in the middle. And then we're gonna change the direction to 0 degrees. Then what we're gonna do is play around with the intensity of the light sweep. So we're gonna bump it up, then probably extend it just a bit. And maybe the sweep intensity could be a bit more intense. Looks pretty good, and now we need to make it follow the line. So in order to do so, select the effect again, create the keyframe for center, hit U, and have the X right over here before the line. Then I'm gonna move to the beginning like that, and I'll play around with X again. So it should be somewhere here. And that's what we have. But we also need to take care of the timing. So let's hit U for everything. I'll have the first keyframe in the beginning, the other one over here. And we're gonna read the values for that graph, which is the mid graph, and we're gonna apply it over here. Right, we might also play around with X so it goes in front of the light. And this seems to be good. It's probably lighting up a bit too early. So again, we're gonna move it to the right. And then what you wanna do is add glow effect to this, or deep glow if you got that plugin. Looks good, but probably a bit too intense, so I'm gonna change exposure to 0.8. And then we need to use a mask to reveal the glowy look. So in order to do so, I'm gonna grab the rectangle tool over here, and we're just gonna create a mask like that. Okay, I'm gonna go to mask 1, I'm gonna have the playhead in the beginning, and I'll keyframe mask path. I'll move over here, and we're just gonna drag that mask across the screen. So that's what we have, and then we need to apply the mid graph to this. And let's see. Alright. This is already looking good enough, but I'm gonna probably just change the width a bit so that white intense light over here is hitting a little bit more of the letters. So let's do it like that. And yeah, just spreading the light sweep a bit more looks better. So now we're gonna add the video, and I'm gonna drop it on the bottom. Already looks good. But we're also gonna make it a bit better. So what I'm gonna do is create a new adjustment layer. And then you wanna change the name to radial blur. I'm gonna add the same effect. And that's how it's looking. You just wanna mask out the middle. So in order to do so, I'm gonna grab the ellipse tool. I'm gonna select the layer, and I'll just do it like that. Okay, I'm gonna probably just have it a bit higher. And then I'm gonna hit invert it, and I'm gonna change the feather. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I need to probably just spread it a bit more. So I'm gonna double click the mask, and while holding control, I'm gonna do it like that. We need one more adjustment layer over here. I'm just gonna call it zoom out. And I'm gonna add the effect transform. And what you wanna do is basically create a keyframe for scale, then move to the beginning and change it to 140. Alright, we need a nice graph over here, so I'm gonna select both, and I'm gonna probably apply mid graph. Okay, let's work on the timing a bit. Alright, this is looking fire. And that way, with just a few layers, you got a very sexy hook. You can always save it, then replace the text, replace the footage, and you can play around with the colors, with the effects, and you can achieve unique looks. So hopefully you found this tutorial insightful, and make sure to drop a like, subscribe, check out my store, and check out the video on the screen. Cheers guys. I mean, I gave you too many tasks, you can just check out the video on the screen.